Hey everybody, it's GoblinX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today I'm going to be playing another quick draft of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, my favorite draft format on Arena. Without further ado, let's get into this draft. Mech Titan Core is a very cool card. You can definitely try to live the dream with this, but I'm not the most interested in it here because it is very narrow. We need to end up in a deck with a ton of artifact creatures and or vehicles, which basically forces us to be in red-black or red-blue. Those are the most artifact-heavy archetypes. I guess blue-white could sort of do it as well, because blue-white has a lot of vehicles, but it would be really difficult in that strategy. So not the most into the Mech Titan core. I think it's just very inconsistent. Even when you are in those archetypes, it's not going to be able to flip very often. It'll just be that wacky little 2/4 vehicle. That being said, we have some excellent uncommons in this pack. We have Goshintai of Shared Purpose, which is going to give you value throughout the game, even by itself, constantly spitting out 1/1s every end step. The Fall of Lord Konda is a great 2-for-1 removal spell against creatures with mana value 4 or greater. A little bit narrow, because your opponent's not always going to have a creature with mana value 4 or greater, but when they do, this card will be excellent, exiling that threat, then giving you a 1/3 that draws you a card after it chump blocks. So really nice value play there. And speaking of great value plays, we also have Gloomshrieker, which is probably the strongest of these three uncommons. However, it is a gold uncommon, so it does tie us into 2 colors right off the bat. This is a 3-mana 2/1 with Menace that returns a permanent from our graveyard to our hand when it enters the battlefield. It does get exiled if it would die, so it can't loop with another copy of itself or with any graveyard recursion. But there are a decent amount of ways to return this to your hand in this format. Of course, anything with ninjutsu lets you return an unblocked attacker to your hand, and this has Menace, which helps it attack in without getting blocked. Also, there are cards like Geothermal Kami to return any enchantment to your hand, so a lot of great ways to abuse the Gloomshrieker, even if it does exile from grave. So that's my favorite card in the pack. That is, in my opinion, the strongest card in the pack. However, the fact that it's a gold card and it's not monumentally better than Goshintai of Shared Purpose or the Fall of Lord Konda means that the safer and potentially better pick is to just take one of these. That being said, I'm a big enough fan of Gloomshrieker to just slam dunk that, pack one, pick one, and see where we go from there. Here we are for pack 1, pick 2 now. Unfortunately, a pretty much unplayable rare in draft, but we do see a lot of solid cards here. Prodigy's Prototype's one of the better cards, but it is a blue-white gold card, so not only is it a multicolored card, but it's in 2 different colors from our first pick, so we'd be on completely opposite ends of the spectrum there. This would work pretty well with the kind of deck that's trying to play the Mech Titan core, so if we had pick 1, pack 1 to that, we could scoop that up, be pretty happy. Since we didn't, though, we're going to be moving on to the commons out of this pack, which are really sweet. There's Era of Enlightenment in white, definitely showing off how great the sagas are, being multiple pieces of value off 1 card. Scry 2, gain 2 life, get a 2/2 first strike for only 2 mana, excellent deal. There's also Network Disruptor, which is very good with ninjutsu cards. A 1-mana 1/1 flyer gives you a cheap evasive creature to bounce back to your hand for your ninjutsu threats to get in, but it also taps a permanent when it enters the battlefield, which also helps get your ninjutsu creatures in, so that card's excellent as well. But there's a card that's close to on par with these two, maybe a little bit weaker than the Network Disruptor. That's probably the best of these 3, but it's very close, and that's Jukai Preserver. This is 4 mana for a 4/4 by itself, because it can put the +1/+1 counter on itself, or it's a flexible card where you put that +1/+1 counter wherever you need it, or it's an even more flexible card where you can also discard it at instant speed to use it as kind of a combat trick, putting a counter on 2 different creatures. So Jukai Preserver plays pretty excellently. It's probably a bit weaker than Network Disruptor because this is such a phenomenal role filler for the ninjutsu archetype, but it's still one of the best cards in this pack, and it's a card that we get to play alongside our Gloomshrieker very freely. So I'm going to take the Jukai Preserver here and move on to pick 3. Pack 1, pick 3 now. This pack is a lot less exciting. There's a lot of cards in here that I'm just not super interested in. I find Nariki is a bit slow, Goshintai is a bit slow, Exemplar, Incision, Regent's Authority, Kami, Iron of Boar, Papercraft Decoy. All these cards are not cards I'm super happy to play in almost any deck, which leaves us with Explosive Singularity, which is a pretty goofy rare. It's It's alright, it's solid, it can win a game out of nowhere. Does take a lot of work to get there because it's very expensive and you want to tap some creatures as well, and most of the red decks in this format are super aggressive, rather than something that could ramp into a big spell like this, but it is a hilarious rare that can absolutely end a game, so it is worth considering. But there's also Prosperous Thief for a ninjutsu deck, which is quite solid, and then there's 2 green cards, Commune with Spirits and Jukai Trainee. These are both definitely weaker than the other cards, but certainly playable cards that are decent to pick. I like Commune with Spirits a lot because we can replace a land with it in our deck. Then in the early game, we spend our 1 mana, pull a land out of the library. And in the late game, if we top deck it later, it's kind of like instead of having that 17th land, we get to use this to dig for an enchantment, find another reasonable play. So Commune with Spirits is pretty sweet. Jukai Trainee is very self-explanatory. It's just a nice early game dork. So I like the green cards a decent bit. We could also take the mythic rare red card to try to be goofy, maybe end up in green-red or something, although I don't think that's a particularly powerful archetype. Or there's just Prosperous Thief, which wouldn't be the best in blue-green. That would just be speculating towards if we get pushed into blue-black, which doesn't feel super likely either. I think these green cards are probably weak enough. We'll just get speculative here. Let's take the big red mythic rare. Have that as an option in our back pocket, but definitely not tying myself to red this early. Pack 1, pick 4 now, a few ways we could go. There's a decent red burn spell with Voltage Surge if we want to just stick to Explosive Singularity. There's Patchwork Automaton, which is a really powerful reason to try to build an artifact-focused deck. Not going to work well with the green and black stuff that we're drafting so far, but if we do get pushed into red, red has a lot of artifacts that work well with the Patchwork Automaton. Season of Renewal is the best card for what we've been taking so far with Gloomshrieker and Jukai Preserver. A very good late game value play that you're always going to be happy to have. And then there's Greater Tanuki. If I want to try to play all 3 of these cards together, this will be good mana fixing to help pull out the red sources for the Singularity. I think for me here, I'd rather get more focused on one of the 2 potential strategies and try to pivot towards red artifacts or just stick to green-black enchantments. And I think I'm just going to do a pretty on-rails draft today and stick to what we've got. I think Season of Renewal is an excellent card for a green-black enchantments value deck, and we'll scoop it up here. Pack 1, pick 5. If we were on the red pivot, Bronze Plate board would be solid, but there's other pretty reasonable cards here. Tameo's Completion in blue is a great removal spell, and green-black. Green in general is a very good color at splashing in stuff. Green-black-white or green-black-blue would be the most likely places to go there for splashes, and Completion would be a perfectly reasonable removal spell to splash in. Alternatively, we just take an Inkrise Infiltrator as the best 2-drop in the pack. Really good at helping us with any ninjutsu cards, which we're likely to have at least a couple in black. And even if we don't have ninjutsu cards, it's a pretty big finisher later in the game. We could just dump all our mana into it to try to kill our opponents. So I like Inkrise Infiltrator a good bit. And as I said before, kind of just trying to force ourselves into green-black at this point. Stick to our Gloomshrieker as our best card. Now we have another Season of Renewal, but I already took 1, plus I have a Gloomshrieker, so I have a lot of graveyard recursion for this early in the draft. So I think I'd rather take the Dokuchi Shadow Walker here, which is going to give us a great way to pick up our Gloomshrieker and recast it. Same with Jukai Preserver, and we have Inkrise Infiltrator as a great way to help get this in for damage. So pretty happy to take that Dokuchi Shadow Walker, but the green-white dual land would have been reasonable there as well to help splash in white pretty easily, which might be where we want to be, because pick 7 here, we see the best common in the whole format, which is Imperial Oath. Excellent card to splash in. 6 mana to get 3 2/2 Samurai with Vigilance and Scry 3, which helps you dig towards whatever kind of spells you need at the time. Huge value play, excellent card. It is competing pretty heavily with Geothermal Kami though, because Geothermal Kami, very good in the green-black deck, because it can pick up our Gloomshrieker and let us recast it. Any of our good Enter the Battlefield effects, or any of our good sagas, can be recurred with this card, which is really, really good synergistically. So it's actually a pretty hard choice between Imperial Oath and Geothermal Kami. Probably supposed to take the Oath here. This is not a format where you have to be a super streamlined 2-color deck. There's a lot of good mana fixing, so it is not hard at all to get a 6 mana card splashed into your deck, especially when it only requires 1 white mana. So, probably supposed to just take Imperial Oath here, but I'm just like all in. I love bouncing Gloomshrieker so much that I just want to take every way to do that. I think I'm just going to have more fun taking Geothermal Kami. I've drafted this format more than enough to where I have played probably 20 different decks that were like green-blue or green-black, splashing multiple Imperial Oaths, and I'm just a little tired about that, a little tired with that. I want to try to just go completely streamlined, stick to just 2 colors here, take the Geothermal Kami. But if you're strictly trying to win, I would absolutely just take the Imperial Oath there and splash it in. It's not hard to do. Take a Bearer of Memory now pretty easily. Experimental Synthesizer is probably the strongest card in the pack, but there's not really anything else outside of the Bearer of Memory, so not missing much there. Now a Careful Cultivation is a fine card, 2 mana for a 1/1 mana dork, or 3 mana for an okay aura. Ninja's Kunai is alright as well if you're really low on removal, but I'm hoping in green-black we can get plenty of decent black removal spells. The Grafted Growth, which can help splash things in, that's the only thing on color, so I suppose we'll take it, but I'm not really looking to main deck that right now. We did wheel the Commune with Spirits, which is a very nice card to replace a land out of the deck. Happy to see it. There are some pretty good synergies with Return to Action if you have creatures with great enter the battlefield effects. Doesn't work well with Gloomshrieker because that'll exile itself, but creatures like Virus Beetle that make your opponent discard a card when they hit the board work pretty well with it. Right now, we don't really have a reason to play it, but it is potentially playable in the right deck, so we'll keep it in mind. Now we've got another copy of Grafted Growth if we need to do some splashing later. We'll see what we get out of Pack 2. And we get a phenomenal Saga for Pack 2. Pick 1, Boseiju Reaches Skyward. Exactly what you want here. It's going to pull 2 forests out of your deck, put them into your hand, make sure you make it to really high mana costs, and then it's going to flip into a gigantic reach creature with power toughness equal to the number of lands you control. That's guaranteed to be at least a 6/6 because you have 4 lands the turn you play it, and you pick up 2 more lands when you play it, so just a really big, really solid finisher, especially when you have a lot of great ways to recur it from your graveyard, make sure you can keep recasting it, like Season of Renewal and Gloomshrieker, so that is pretty easily the pick. Other notable cards are mainly Lethal Exploit and Fade into Antiquity to actually have some removal in this deck. Pack 2, Pick 2, the strongest card by a country mile is Behold the Unspeakable. This is a really, really powerful saga. I would argue even potentially a bit stronger than Boseiju Reaches Skyward. You get to scry 2 and then draw 2, and then you flip this into a decently sized flying trample creature. It does require double blue, so it's a pretty difficult splash, but there's nothing really good for a black-green deck in this pack. Honestly, if I didn't take Behold the Unspeakable, I would probably be taking Searchlight Companion, which is just fine. So I'm going to take Behold here. I know I did just say I wanted to try to be a streamlined 2-color deck and not do a lot of splashing today, but if I'm splashing for like a super powerful double blue saga, that's just so tempting. It's a way harder splash to do than Imperial Oath, so I'm not saying that this is the right pick, it's just the pick that's more fun to me because I just love this card so much. It's such a good saga. I'm going to take Behold the Unspeakable. Again, I'm not married to splashing it, but I like having the option, especially when we end up getting packs like this that's like Return to Action, Commune with Spirits, and then nothing but blue cards. So we're not really missing on anything by not taking an on-color card. We can just take a Tamiyo's Completion in case we do splash that blue. Taking a look at the deck now, it is also possible that we just go green-blue and splash the black. If we end up cutting Shadow Walker Infiltrator, then we can just straight up be green-blue at the core and just splash in the Gloomshrieker. That could be pretty easy as well. So it doesn't even have to be a splash for Behold. It could be a splash the other way around. It could be pretty easy. Anyways, this pack is not the most exciting. There's a Dokchi Shadow Walker. There's a high-speed hoverbike. That's probably going to be the pick for me. This is a solid addition to pretty much any deck. There's a lot of like 1/1 and 2/1 dorks that are going to be sitting around that aren't going to be attacking or blocking super well later in the game. Like just a 1/1 that taps for a mana or a 2/1 Gloomshrieker. And you can use those to crew this then. Also another Careful Cultivation though for another 2-mana 1/1 that gives us a green. It also fills our grave nice and early for our graveyard recursion. Because for 2 mana we put the Careful Cultivation in our grave, make the Human Monk, then on turn 3 we could immediately pick it up with Gloomshrieker or something. Actually, Careful Cultivation is probably the main card in competition with the high-speed hoverbike. Guidebot's fine, but it's pretty slow. I've definitely lost to a Guidebot or two over the course of a pretty long game, but I've definitely beaten a lot just by being faster. So I'm not the most interested in that as a card draw engine. Yeah, I could really coin flip between the hover bike and the cultivation. I'm going to go for the cultivation here. I don't think I have a ton of great ways to crew the hover bike yet. See what we get. Pack 2, pick 5. Containment Construct is really good in green-blue because there's a saga called the Modern Age that allows us to draw a card, discard a card. Anything that lets you draw a card and discard a card is really good with Containment Construct because you just discard your land for turn and then play it from exile and keep whatever you were going to straight up draw. So I really like Containment Construct if we push to green, blue, splash, black. It's also good with channel effects like Careful Cultivation. If we have a lot of mana late in the game, we have this on board and we top deck the Cultivation. We can channel the Cultivation to make a 1/1 and also cast the Cultivation from exile. So I think Containment Construct has a lot of great synergy to scoop it up here. And there's not much going on here. There's an Heir of the Ancient Fang in green, nothing in black. I guess we'll take the blue card, the Sky Swimmer Koi, which is fine. Here's a Moon Snare Specialist, excellent ninjutsu card. Ninjutsu's for 3, lets you bounce a creature when it hits the board. So hopefully you're using this to bounce one of your own powerful sagas, and then let its enter the battlefield effect bounce something that your opponent doesn't want bounced. Very happy to take a Moon Snare Specialist. Another high-speed hover bike. Kind of interesting, but still not that great. I'm just going to take another Geothermal Kami and have a million ways to bounce my enchantments. Nothing super playable here. There's a Terminal if I really need more ways to help splash, or there's a Mirror Shell Crab for a big dork that works as a counterspell early game if we need it. That's about it that I'm interested in. I'll take a Network Terminal, but I don't think I'm running it right now. Just have it as an option. Searchlight Companion is a fine card to help us get our ninjutsu stuff in, with a good enter the battlefield effect to repeat. Another Commune with Spirits is alright. And we'll take some nonsense at the end of the pack. We are at 19, we're at 20. Harmonious Emergence is a very playable card, basically a 5 mana 4/5 Vigilance Haste. Do enjoy that. So we're at 20 out of 23 non-land cards, so we are very close to having a full deck. Looks like the draft is definitely going to shape up, but it all depends on what we get in pack 3. Alright, pack 3 pick 1's a bit awkward, because there are 2 really good cards competing here. Kaito Shizuki is a phenomenal card that's probably a little stronger than the other card in a vacuum. However, this is pretty focused for an aggressive archetype like blue-black ninjas, and our deck is a lot slower than that. It's hard for us to keep getting attacks in. To trigger that +1 draw card ability, we're constantly going to have to discard to this, which makes it quite a bit weaker. Also, the ultimate doesn't really do anything, but it's a fine card draw engine that can also spit out those ninja tokens, which is solid. I guess at worst, it's basically a 3 mana 1/1 unblockable that potentially keeps drawing us a card every turn. Probably pretty great, but I know that Boseiju Reach of Skyward is going to be phenomenal in this deck. Right, we've got double Geothermal Kami for it. We have great ways to return it from our graveyard back to our hand. Boseiju Reach of Skyward is just such a great card. Doesn't matter what's going on with our board state. We don't need to protect it anyway, like we have to protect Kaito. Kaito's a very cool card, for sure. Super, super nice for the blue-black ninjas deck. But for this deck, I'm more into Boseiju Reach of Skyward, and that is the card that I want to play. I'm going to have more fun with it, and I think it's a little more powerful for this specific deck. Again, I don't think it's wrong to take Kaito. I think these are both pretty equally powerful for this deck, but I think Boseiju just gets a little bit of an edge for me personally, and I'm going to roll with it. Now we've got a Long Reach of Night, which is a phenomenal saga to be able to recur, bring it back to our hand, keep recasting it. So I'm going to take that here since we are already splashing black. Really, really good card to pick up with Geothermal Kamis. Now we have pack 3, pick 3, nothing in blue. Another Season of Renewal in green is fine. Probably take that. I could also take Greater Tanuki to help with the mana fixing here because I don't really have anything doing that yet. Yeah, Greater Tanuki's probably pretty important with no ways to help splash in the black right now, so we'll take that. Colossal Sky Turtle is phenomenal. That's going to give us a flexible instant speed bounce spell that can also be instant speed graveyard recursion, or a big flying finisher late in the game. So Sky Turtle, great flexible card. Master's Rebuke would also be great here because we're pretty low on removal, but I think Sky Turtle is just where it's at. Super good card for this deck. Wow, there's some excellent black cards in this pack, but black is our splash, so it's kind of hard to justify the great 1-mana black cards, like Dockside Chef and Okiba Reckoner Raid, or the great 2-mana black cards like Virus Beetle. That is unfortunate, because I'm not really going to use any of these blue or green cards, to be honest. I guess I'll still just take a powerful black card here, even if it is a 1 or 2 mana card. I think Virus Beetle, Okiba Reckoner Raid, and Dockside Chef are all great. Every single one of them. We're not going to have a super high creature count, so Dockside Chef loses a little bit of value. Don't think we have anything that really cares about having artifacts on board, but the Beetle is still good to ninjutsu with our 1 or 2 ninjutsu cards. I guess I only have 2 cards with ninjutsu between Shadow Walker and Specialist. I'm going to go for the Okiba Reckoner Raid here. I think that's also great to ninjutsu and easy to ninjutsu because it has Menace. And it's also easier to abuse with cards like Geothermal Kami and Season of Renewal stuff. So I'll take Okiba Reckoner Raid here. I actually don't know here. We could end up being more green, black, splash, blue again, kind of bouncing between those two potential archetypes. Like, look at this. Now we're just green, black, splash, blue. We really kind of get to decide when we get to the deck building which it's going to be. I think I'll take Generous Visitor here, a 1-mana 1/1 that gets a +1/+1 counter on any creature whenever we cast an enchantment. We have 14 enchantments in the deck. That seems pretty powerful. Moon Circuit Hacker also great if blue ends up being a core color. Could have had a pretty sweet blue-black ninja deck here if we knew that we were going to open up Kaito Pack 3 pick 1, because we also got like Moon Circuit Hackers, Moon Snare Specialists, stuff like that. But I'm pretty happy with the deck that we've got here. We'll take the Generous Visitor. Alright, nothing I'm that interested in playing here, but I'll take Ninja's Kunai in case I need more removal. Network Disruptor for ninja stuff, or Shadow Walker for another ninjutsu card. Take the Shadow Walker here over the Harmonious Emergence, again with all these great sagas to bounce and replay. For green-black. I already have 2 Commune with Spirits, so here I think I'll take the Tamio Safekeeping, which is an excellent way to protect any one of your permanents from removal or a board wipe or anything. Really efficient little safety spell there. Now we can wheel a Season of Renewal, which I'm very happy with. Scoop it up, and another Season of Renewal. We have such a good late game, it's insane. So much graveyard recursion in this deck. Slam a bunch of nonsense in the sideboard, and let's get to building this pile. I think we're going to be green, black, splash the blue most likely. Alright, so now we're going to build this deck. We get to cut 8 cards out of here, which means we could completely stop splashing. Which might be okay, because honestly we don't have the best fixing ever. We have 1 Greater Tanuki, so it'd be pretty hard to splash double blue, and I'm a little more excited about our black cards than our blue cards outside of the Behold the Unspeakable. We could still splash the Sky Turtle pretty easily, because we don't need the blue mana till we have 7 mana total. And it has that really good combo with Season of Renewal. So if I use a Colossal Sky Turtle to pick up one of our 3 copies of Season of Renewal, we put that into our hand, then we cast the Season of Renewal, we get to pick up both the Sky Turtle and a different artifact or enchantment, and then we can loop those cards indefinitely late game. Obviously, we need a lot of mana to do that, so that's just if the game is really grinding out, but that's some way that we could get a lot of value off of the Sky Turtle, even if we don't have the blue mana to cast it. So, I think I'll leave the Sky Turtle in, but cut the rest of the blue. I don't think the other blue cards are that worth splashing, to where the only one that is really worth splashing is Behold the Unspeakable, which is just hard to splash with only 1 Greater Tanuki, so I think I'll cut that here. Drop down to 1 island alongside a Tanuki to help with Sky Turtle. And then this is, 16 lands with 2 copies of Commune with Spirits. That kind of turns it into 18 lands. So I'm cool with that. And then we need to cut 3 more cards. Geothermal Kami is a really, really easy way to bounce any of our sagas for great value, so maybe the Shadow Walkers go down in value a bit, because we have just more consistent ways to bounce them that don't require them to be getting in unblocked. Containment Construct is looking a bit weaker. We didn't get any Modern Ages or anything, but we do want some early game creatures. Yeah, it's probably still fine in here. Oh my god, I'm so into the fact that we can go turn 2 Careful Cultivation to get a 1/1 Mana Dork into turn 3 Bosager Reaches Skyward. That's going to be a monstrous curve anytime we get that done. I think with 3 copies of Season of Renewal and Sky Turtle, we have so much great late game graveyard recursion, we don't really need mana sinks like Bearer of Memory. We can just like go to Value Town late game. So we just cut the Shadow Walkers and the Bearer and call it a deck there. Super low on removal in here, that is our biggest problem. We only have the Long Reach of Night and a Ninja's Kunai. Maybe it's worth splashing a Tamiyo's Completion as well. I don't know though, I think the deck is really strong. It's got a lot of really beefy blockers once we start flipping sagas. I'm just going to go for it. I think we're going to call it a deck there. Alright, here we have a look at the completed deck for today. This is a green-black value deck. It's very enchantment focused here, and it has a lot of ways to return the enchantments to our hand to recast them for extra value. We can do that from the board with Geothermal Commies to pick up cards like Gloom Shrieker and recast them to get their effects again, or pick up cards like the Long Reach of Night to keep making our opponent sacrifice or discard stuff. And we also have tons of graveyard recursion to bring them back from the grave and do it all over again with 3 copies of Season of Renewal and 1 copy of Colossal Sky Turtle. So really focused green-black enchantments deck with a ton of great ways to grind out a ton of value as you want in the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty format. So I am very excited about this one. So without further ado, let's just head into the gameplay and see how it does. Alright, here we are in game 1. Multiple cultivations, Searchlight Companion, we'll keep it here. We have our core colors, we have green and black. Not a ton of action in the early game here. Oh wow, I'm just artwork blind. We have 1 cultivation and a Season of Renewal. Okay, that actually makes the hand better, because we definitely didn't need 2 cultivations. So having the Season of Renewal for really good value later on, picking up 2 cards from grave, is going to be a lot better than just having another 1/1 Mana Dork right now. Draw another Season of Renewal. Do I want to have 4 mana on turn 3 with this current hand? Not really. I think I'd rather just play a 2/1 and then play a Searchlight Companion. Just curve out pretty naturally. I top deck one of my 4 drops, then I would rather have had the Mana Dork, so we're only missing 1 point of damage by making the Mana Dork, so maybe it would have been better to do that, because I do have a lot of 4 drops in the deck. We did not draw any of them, though, so we're fine for now. Kami of Transience is definitely scary. It's a trampler that keeps getting bigger every time they cast enchantments, so that could definitely try to outrace us. I'm going to send in the Construct and offer the trade here. It does have an ability to come back from the graveyard, but only when their enchantments die, so it'll be quite a while. So we'll still slow it down from killing us here by doing that. Alright, I'm going to play the Searchlight Companion. Pass the turn. And there's the Goshintai of Boundless Vigor, and here is a matchup where a lack of removal is going to be a huge hindrance, because both of these cards are just going to sit there getting bigger and bigger and bigger throughout the game, and we're not going to have much to get rid of them. We hit our, I don't even remember what it's called, the Long Reach of Night, our way that makes them potentially sack creatures. That would be really good here. They could just discard 2 cards, but it would still be a 3-for-1, but that would probably be our best draw. For now, we're going to channel the Tanuki to get a blue source, so that we know we can at least bounce one of these when it gets too big. Force them to recast it and start working on the +1/+1 counters again. Opponent is on green, blue, white. Those are the main enchantment colors in the format, so they should have a lot of ways to work with those. And there's the blue Goshintai. Goshintai of Lost Wisdom here to go with the Goshintai of Boundless Vigor. Send in the Kami of Transience. I have no good blocks, So we'll take the 4 damage. Got trample anyway. They are going to go for the mill with the Goshintai of Lost Wisdom. They mill a land and our 1-drop Saga. And let's go ahead and use our Greater Tanuki. Pick up our island. I don't think we can really beat multiple Goshintais stacked up. Because we can't... I can sort of disrupt it by bouncing one, but I can't kill any of them. We're not going to be fast enough here. I guess as they mill us, our Season of Renewals can get whatever we need. So if there is an out in our deck, they're going to let us draw it by milling us. They're just going to kind of be our ally this game. Yeah. I go up a lot in mana if I channel this and cast it. And that feels like it's going to be pretty important. So let's set up a ton of mana and then try to go Season of Renewal full value town. Just get way ahead in cards that way at least. Gonna be hard to outrace the amount of power on their board though. But I think that's our best plan. Set up a ton of mana here and just start using a ton of Season of Renewals and Sky Turtle loops to keep casting whatever we want. So we need to set up as much mana as possible. Okay, they're going to choose to get the +1/+1 counters instead of the mill. Hit a Tamiyo's Safekeeping does not really do anything here. So currently they didn't mill anything really important for us. Probably bounce that Goshintai and then Season of Renewal back Sky Turtle and something else. I could Sky Turtle back a land so I can keep playing lands here and make sure I have tons of mana. And I can still Season of Renewal back the Sky Turtle afterwards. That's kind of weird. It's probably not the right play right now. We probably need to bounce the Goshintai. It's at 4 power, 8 toughness. Probably have to bounce Goshintai, Season of Renewal back, Sky Turtle, and Tanuki, I guess. Attack with everybody. I've got a Tamiyo Safekeeping to give Indestructible here if they try to do some wacky stuff to save this Goshintai on the ground. Containment Construct isn't phenomenal right now because I already have the value loop of Season of Renewal Sky Turtle, so I don't really need extra channel value. So I could stack more blocks onto this in case they have like a +2/+2 combat trick. Don't remember the combat tricks well enough in the set. I feel like the most likely one is they just have their own safekeeping. Yeah, I'm just going to block like that and then bounce the blue Goshintai. Wanderer's Intervention. This safekeeping could be big. Killing one of their Goshintais here would be huge. Unless they have multiple tricks. They do have multiple tricks. Could bounce the Kami now instead, let them keep the mill Goshintai. Yeah, putting them down to just one Goshintai on board I think is important enough to now bounce the Kami of Transcends here. So our 2/4 sticks around, kills the green Goshintai. And then they're down to just one very big Goshintai of Lost Wisdom. And they're going to Sky Turtle their own Goshintai here. Alright, fair enough. I don't have the mana to season my Sky Turtle and try to do any more tricks here. Because I only have one blue source. Alright. Yeah, it's not horrendous. Get our chump block off. Okay. Season of Renewal, creature enchantments. Pick up the Sky Turtle for sure. Oops. Gotta choose creature first. So creature will do Searchlight Companion, and then we'll also pick up Sky Turtle as the enchantment. There we go. Another Season of Renewal. I need 3 mana up. Guess I could hold up these 3. And that's the 3 mana up for Season of Renewal. Or Sky Turtle to pick up Season of Renewal. They're both Sages about to flip. That's not lovely. I kind of like having 5 mana up here, so I could bounce and use Season of Renewal again if I need to bounce something. This is going to be a very long game 1, I can tell you that much. We're on the Season of Renewal Sky Turtle plan. Again, if we can find something like our Long Reach of Night, that's probably our biggest out, because then we have the tools to just keep playing it over and over and over again. Slowly but surely taking over the board. Okay, now I am fairly certain we need to get rid of all the counters on that thing. I probably am supposed to wait till their end step so they can't recast it here. I'll chump again with all this graveyard recursion. Okay, I'll let that trigger. They're going to mill me again. We're happy to see it. Land Jukai Preserver, now go Shintai. This one's going to trigger. Probably going to target itself, so I think I need to bounce right now. If they target this one and then I bounce, I'm getting extra value by countering that. But then if they target this one and then I bounce, then they'll have 2 out, I think. Wait, no, I can wait till they choose the target. I can wait till they choose the target either way. I think. Okay, and they chose to target that one, so this is going to be even better for us then. Boom. Creature enchantment. We want Companion Sky Turtle again. Probably. Okay, hit a land here. Play Companion. I've got 6 mana, which is enough to use Sky Turtle plus Season of Renewal now. Which is very good. That is where we want to be. We start doing that. 21 cards left still. The more they fill our grave, the more options we will have to toy around with. I do have 8 power on board if I want to block that with everybody. But they just wipe out a gigantic chunk of my board, so I think I'm just on chump blocks all day long. Especially if I can chump with Searchlight Companion where I can keep getting copies. Keep replaying it. Getting more chump blockers. See if they mill anything sweet. Geothermal Kami Ninja's Kunai. That is pretty sweet. We can kill Goshintai Boundless Vigor with that. I can't pick up the Kunai with Season of Renewal though, so now I need to Sky Turtle the Kunai, then Season of Renewal, Sky Turtle something else, and then every other Sky Turtle I cast for the rest of the game has to target a Season of Renewal to go infinite. Okay. Some counters on that. Alright. So I kind of need to pick up Ninja's Kunai. And then I need to Season of Renewal, Creature Enchantments. A Geothermal Kami Sky Turtle this time. There's the Long Reach of Night as well. It's another card we really wanted. I can play Long Reach of Night, Ninja's Kunai, and still have the 3 mana up to Sky Turtle back a card. Yep. I think that's where it's at. So we go Kunai. Put it on a 1/1. Deal 3 to the Goshintai Boundless Vigor. Oh no, I'm 1 mana off from what I wanted to do. I am incorrect. So if I don't Long Reach of Night here, what do I do? I guess I could just not Sky Turtle this turn, that's fine. Still play the Long Reach of Night. Yeah, 1 turn of no Sky Turtle is probably fine. Because I have a 2/4 reach to block the 2/6. I have a 1/1 to block the 8/8. We just take 4 damage this turn. Alright, just the branch. Here's the chump block. It might be worth chump blocking with Containment Construct just so I don't have to keep declining its ability. Alright, they mill 1 card a turn now. We've got 16 cards left. I think we can take this game over. Okay. I do have the mana to play the Kami and recast the Long Reach of Night now. It's already made them discard the 2 cards it's going to, which is going to turn into a blocker next turn. Yep, so we just replay it now. Again, I'm not going to take any damage because I've got the 1/1 Spirit to chump block the 8/8 branch. I've got the 2/4 reach to block the 2/6 flyer. And they go ahead and sack the Kami of Transcendence, so whatever's in their hand is pretty good then. I guess when another one of their enchantments dies, they do get to put the Kami back in their hand, but it won't have the +1/+1 counters anymore, at least. Ooh, Befriending the Moths is pretty good here. We'll take 1 pretty big hit, but then we can start looping our flyer back every turn. I've got 10 mana, so 3 mana. 3 mana to return Season Renewal, 3 mana to pick up this in the flyer, 3 mana to play the flyer. I do have enough mana to play a flying chump blocker every turn. With my infinite value loop, because it's 6 mana to do the loop of Sky Turtle Season of Renewal. Ooh, sack that and you've got no blockers. Alright. None of our blockers on the ground matter now because that's just going to attack in the sky. So we could send in with everybody, so let's do our thing. Return the Season of Renewal. Creature enchantment. Creature's going to be Searchlight Companion. Enchantment's going to be Colossal Sky Turtle. Searchlight Companion. And I can attack with everybody else. Play around them untapping the branch here. Keep our Mana Dork at least. Yeah, let's keep the Mana Dork. Super safe from like Wanderer's Intervention or anything like that. Repel the Vial. Just exile the 4/3. They pick up the Kami. They're playing off the top here. We've got the Chump Blocker for Branch of Boseiju. 15 cards in the deck still. Historian's Wisdom does not give it trample, but it does draw them a card. Alright, another land makes it a 12-11 in the sky. And there's the Kami. Here's the Chumpity Chump Chump that we are going to get very used to. Commune with Spirits. I will still have the mana to pick up the flyer and play it if I commune first, so in case that changes things. Gloomshrieker, I think, does change things. I think we do take Gloomshrieker here. Actually, I don't think it changes things this turn, but it does give me so many more options. They have one blocker. Block there, take 2, 3, 4, 5. Definitely not lethal. I could pick up Long Reach of Night again. That forces them to sack one of these two. They sack the Kami of Transits. Don't have a flying blocker anymore, but Branch won't be attacking in the sky next turn anyway, because this is just going to turn into a 2/4 flyer next turn. Yeah, and then if they sack the Kami... Oh wait, no, I can't pick up Long Reach of Night. It's on my board. I could pick up Geothermal Kami? No, they exile Geothermal Kami. Okay, I can't do what I really want to do. I can do a lot of other things. I'm just gonna keep it simple here. Let's just keep the loop going, because we know that that is good. I actually really wanted to trade there. Just having to decline the containment construct every turn is just such a net negative. So many extra clicks in the Sky Turtle Season of Renewal combo. Roaring Earth, make a gigantic land. Send in a branch. What am I doing? I want to pick up Animus, I think, from my graveyard. Oh my god, now I have a Geothermal Kami as well. You can just keep Geothermal Kamiing the Gloomshrieker now and gaining life. If the Geothermal Kami dies, we pick up the Gloomshrieker, then we pick up the Kami, then we pick up the Gloomshrieker, then we pick up the Kami. This is so silly. $12 cards left in the deck here. No, I'm blocking with Containment Construct. Get this thing off my board. I could have kept a 1/1, I think, if I did that the other way. I just wanted to get that construct out of my life. We have so many just stupid little value endless loop things like that. Like Kami Gloomshrieker stuff going on. That's just horrifically good. I'm just gonna pick up the, well, yeah, I'll pick up the kunai because I can't do that with Season of Renewal, and I'm gonna Sky Turtle the Season of Renewal. I'm gonna keep a flying chump blocker in case they draw another way to give it flying or something. Spirited Companion for solid value. Buff up the Kami of Transits and play another Boseiju Reaches Skyward. Their deck is quite good. But it doesn't have them infinite value loops that we've got. They do have a branch of Boseiju to block flyers. Not ideal. Okay, well, let's make sure that I don't mess things up. Let's make sure that I pick up a Season of Renewal and then pick up a Sky Turtle. But what do I want alongside the Sky Turtle? Is the question. Jukai Preserver, Greater Tanuki. I'll go Jukai Preserver. Sky Turtle. Still have the 3 mana up to Sky Turtle again. 4 mana to play Preserver. Don't really know what I buff. Probably not the Animus, because I'd rather replay it again. Probably anything else? I guess I'll just choose the flyer. We put an Egonjo on top of their library with Boseiju Reaches Skyward. We're gonna have to deal 8 more damage to them sometime in the next 10 turns. Ninja's Kunai can do 3 of that 8, so I just need to find a way to get 5 combat damage in. There's a Colossal Sky Turtle of their own. Hello, friend. Send in the Kami of Transits. Three blockers. We know that their hand is just a land, so with 3 blockers, they block Geothermal Kami Companion Gloomshaker, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Probably 8. We probably just kill them if we just take this. Especially because I can bounce one of their creatures with the Sky Turtle next turn if I need to. So I can kunai up this to turn this into 3 guaranteed damage. I just need to be able to hit for 5. They can block this, and block a 2. Take 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're just dead. And even if somehow they don't die, I can still set up enough blocks to live another turn and then kill them next turn. Alright, and now we can just Ninja's Kunai the face. Well, that was one game of Magic the Gathering today, and we are 1-0 after a very long, very grindy game, but that was what I was talking about, where I say this deck can grind out a very long game like that. We have just endless graveyard recursion loops if we get a Sky Turtle alongside a Season of Renewal. That was some pretty nasty stuff. We even got a little bit of Gloom Shrieker looping going on in the middle there. Gained us a bunch of life, got us some more stuff back from grave. All in all, great work from the deck there. We are 1-0, heading into round 2 now, where we are on the play. Don't have anything to play till turn 4, but we have really good spells to play. If I'm against a really aggressive deck like Blue-Black Ninjas or any red-based deck in the format, we might just die before we get to any of our good value plays, but if we're against another green-based deck, green-white, green-blue, anything like that, could be a good opener for sure. Opponent starts on turn 1 with the Dockside Chef, just a 1-mana 1/2. They can sacrifice an artifact or creature to draw a card. Solid card there. They are black-red, which is a pretty aggressive archetype. That is a deck focused on sacrificing a bunch of stuff and playing a bunch of artifacts. They are curving out 1-drop into 2-drop. Luckily, we did draw something to play turn 3 at least. We can drop an Okiba Reckoner Raid, drain them for some life, heal us a little bit. Turn 3 for our opponent. They have an Unstoppable Ogre, 4 power creature. It's only got 1 toughness, but the 4 power is the big scary part here. And we are already on the back foot a bit for keeping a slower hand. Train our opponent for 1 again. Probably try to trade the 2/2 into the 4/1 soon enough. For now, I guess we play Boseiju Reaches Skyward and take all the damage for a turn. Because I don't really want to Geothermal Kami because I don't want to bounce Reckoner Raid when I want to trade with it soon. Next turn I have the mana to play the Kami and the Safekeeping. I guess I could just choose not to bounce anything with it next turn. Might be the line. We're down to 13 now. Safekeeping gains us 2 more life while we win a combat with it, which is nice. Ooh, okay. Very nice draw. We hit a Jukai Preserver, so we can still play a 4-mana creature without having to lose out on potential Geothermal Kami value here. Rather have a 4/4 and a 2/2 or 2 3/3s? I'll go 2 3/3s and I'll trade the non-menace one into the Unstoppable Ogre. I think that's the play. Target opponent exiles a creature they control. Well, I can't safekeep against that, sure. So there goes Jukai Preserver then. Probably want to keep safekeeping for Boseiju, because it's going to be really, really big as a blocker. Like, that's going to be nearly impossible for them to get through if I can just keep it from dying to a removal spell. Going to be a 6/6 next turn against their board state. And it has reach, which is really important against the Infiltrator. Alright, they'll get some ninjutsu in here, gain some life, that's fine. Don't really care about their life total, just care about our life total here. If we can stabilize the board, we can grind out a long game, even if they're at like 60 life. So here's land number 6. This means we can play Geothermal Kami, Commune with Spirits, and Tamiyo's Safekeeping. I do want to play the Kami here, but I don't want to pick up anything. Let's see what Commune hits us. I should have done this first in case I hit a land off of it, and we did hit a land off of it. Now we Geothermal Kami, don't pick anything up. Have another blocker to play it safe. Pass the turn. Got just Okiba Reckoner Raid in grave, so I would like to have Kami in the grave as well, so I can pick up 2 things with Season of Renewal. Inkrise Infiltrator has returned. And another Inkrise Infiltrator. Alright, that means they don't have any attacks on board. Pass to our turn, we hit a Gloom Shrieker. Pick up the Reckoner Raid. Seems okay with me, and then once Geothermal Kami dies, we can Season of Renewal it, which can then let us cast it and pick up the Gloom Shrieker. Yeah, feels pretty good. Yeah, so Gloom Shrieker, Okiba Reckonerade, and I'll still have the mana up for Safekeeping or Renewal. I won't have the mana up to do both, but one or the other is still good. Do not think I'm attacking in yet with my only creature that can block the infiltrators. There's an experimental synthesizer for card draw for our opponent. They do hit a Twisted Embrace. Happy to have a Tamiyo safekeeping here because that is definitely their play this turn. That'll destroy an artifact or creature I control? No, a creature or planeswalker I control. And I'll just counter it with Tamiyo safekeeping. They'll still get the +1/+1, but we'll keep the branch on board. Hit another Commune with Spirits. Let's see if we hit an enchantment this time. We do. Harmonious Emergence. I just missed out on my only blue source, but if I draw my Sky Turtle, this is probably another game where I don't even want to cast it anyway. I just want to keep looping my Season of Renewal with it. I think I have enough mana. Yes, I do have enough mana to play this and still have Season of Renewal up. If they beat this swamp, I still keep the swamp, I just lose the emergence, so I think I'm good with an attack here. They could double block with Ambusher and Dockside Chef. I just kill one of those two, but that's fine. Because I'll still have an untapped swamp, and then Season of Renewal can pick up the Harmonious Emergence as the enchantment. And I just need to get a creature engrave for Season of Renewal. They block like this, I think I'd rather kill the Ambusher. Although, I only have one creature that can block the Infiltrators. So maybe killing one of the Infiltrators is better. Yeah, I've got a 4/3 to block there, 4/3 on the ground. I should kill an Infiltrator. Alright. Pass turn. Reckoner's Bargain. Sack the Synthesizer, draw a card, and exile a card with it. Exile March of Wretched Sorrow. Deals X to a creature planeswalker, you gain X. They can do... kill my Gloom Shrieker. That's not fun. Because I can't reanimate the Gloom Shrieker. I guess they have enough mana to kill the Geothermal Kami. I'd be really happy if they choose to just deal 3 to the Geothermal Kami. Because I can pick that up. Oh yeah, let's go. That is very cool with me, opponent. Let's go to Value Town. There's the Sky Turtle for the Season of Renewal loops later. Think I still don't attack with the branch. Feel like I definitely attack with the emergence. I guess again they double block Ambusher Chef or something. We've got 8 mana up, 3 mana to pick up a Season of Renewal, 3 mana to recast that. I would have 2 mana to play whatever I want. But I don't have anything to pick up with Season of Renewal yet. I need to get more creatures in my grave. This only picks up permanents, right? I don't have any permanents in grave either. I just have instants and sorceries. So I don't even have a good Geothermal Kami play. Yeah, I guess we're only on Harmonious Emergence then. And then just play a 4/3 for no value or just pass? I'm gonna pass for now. don't actually hate that. Because now I know how I'm going to get my full Season of Renewal value. I can pick up a Geothermal Kami and a Sky Turtle then. Alright, they're passing turn. Pick up Season of Renewal. There's a land to discard to the Long Reach of Night. Two, three, four, five. I guess I could have 6 mana up, which is enough to Sky Turtle Season of Renewal again. So I'm actually going to send the swamp in. Ideally kill the flyer here, but if they double block Ambush or Chef or just take 4, that's also fine. Gonna whittle down their board and have another use for Sky Turtle Season of Renewal. Okay, they're just gonna take 4. We will not whittle down the board then. If I play the land, discard the Kami, I have the 6 mana up to then Season of Renewal, pick up Kami, Sky Turtle again. So actually I'll play the land. I could sack the Road Captain instead, pick up that as the enchantment, this is the creature, and then drain them for some life next turn. But then I've got one less creature on the board for a turn. Alright, Undercity Scrounger. They can start making treasure tokens if one of their creatures died this turn. If any creature died this turn. Cool. If they draw into like an Oni Cult Anvil, they are probably going to outgrind us. With that, with an Oni Cult Anvil, they can do some really good things. Ooh, there's our own Long Reach of Night. Think we want to play it. Now they have to sacrifice something or discard a card, and they don't have Graveyard Recursion like we do. This should be more impactful. Yeah, they're just going to scoop them up. They're already over the Sky Turtle Season Renewal nonsense. Alright, that was another very long game of Magic that had the potential to grind out as long as the first game if our opponent just stuck it out till the end there. And I don't even know if we were 100% to win that game. If they have like an Oni Cult Anvil or something, that would let them drain us for life every single turn, which could keep pressure on us as we're doing our little loops and stuff and not getting too much stuff going on. But hitting the Long Reach of Night was really, really good because that is a huge card to really up the quality of our loops. As we saw game 1, that's where we started actually turning things around. And it would probably do the same here. Make them discard 2 cards or sack 2 creatures. And then we can just keep attacking with it every turn, because if they block and kill it, then I can bring it back from grave to hand, recast it, and that'll be a huge way to grind out this kind of war of attrition. And if they don't block it, then eventually it'll kill them. So solid stuff again, just really grinding it out with this green-black value, green-black graveyard value stuff deck. I swear to God, those words make sense in my head. We're 2-0 heading into Game 3. Here we are for Game 3. Opponent is on the play. If they are aggressive, we could have a bad time. They are on white. If they're not aggressive, we're going to have a really good time, because Tanuki makes sure we have all 3 colors of mana. We have the Season of Renewal already. We have a Boseija Reaches Skyward and a Gloom Shrieker. Got a really, really good hand value-wise. Just not much to do early game, but that's most of the hands in this deck. Opponent is on green-white with a turn 2 Jukai Naturalist. That is the fastest way Not the fastest. That's like the second fastest way to start the game in a green-white enchantments deck. Now, all of their enchantments cost 1 less. They could be playing Boseiju Reaches Skywards on turn 3, doing a lot of ridiculous stuff like that, so that's kind of scary as a start from our opponent. The absolute fastest way for a green-white enchantments deck to start the game would be turn 1 Generous Visitor and then turn 2 Jukai Naturalist. But as you can see, that's still pretty absurd. They get to play a Zeus's Many Journeys and Golden Tail Disciple now on turn 3. Luckily, they only have 3 lands in hand because they did not play an additional land that turn. Did naturally hit the black source, so I don't need to cycle the Kami. Or the Tanuki. That being said, if I don't cycle the Tanuki, all I'm doing is playing a Gloom Shrieker for no graveyard recursion. Which I'm not in love with. Yeah, I'm going to take a pretty solid-sized hit for doing this, but I'm going to set up more mana here. Next turn I'll have 5 mana on board by doing this. Oh my god. Yeah, this is a really, really aggressive start. Now they have a Tales of Master Sashiro on turn 4, thanks to the cost reduction from Naturalist, and top decking the land after the Zeus's Many Journeys. Alright, and they're going to have a 5/5 Vigilance Haste after. Yeah, this is going to be a hard one to stay in. Commune with Spirits is the draw. They're going to have a 3/3 that doesn't have haste this turn, so they hit for 6 on board, put me down to 7. I have to bite the bullet here and just play a Geothermal Kami to offer a trade with something. I feel like I have to play Boseiju, because if I don't get something big enough to block the 5/5 out soon, that thing's going to completely kill me. But if I play Boseiju this turn, I'm not blocking at all, which means I'm going to go down to 7 life. And the turn after this, I'll have 6 mana maximum. Means I'm only going to play 1 blocker against 3 attackers. I don't think I can survive long enough to set up the Boseiju here. Can't really do anything else. Because if I do the other route and I play the Kami trying to trade into one of these, I'm still going to take a couple damage and then have to deal with a 5/5 later that I can't. They've got a 3/3 flipping. I don't think I can wait on Boseiju, but I also don't see how this line can lead to victory at all. Either. 4/5's pretty good at blocking everything except their 5/5. Land is okay, but I could still only play 1 card. I guess I could Gloom Shrieker Season of Renewal. But the problem is I need to play more than 1 blocker, which I couldn't do with any of that. We'll take Harmonious Emergence. Turn 2 Naturalist is just too much for this deck. It's pretty slow. As we've seen in the last 2 games, if we can make it to the late game, we grind it out like nobody's business, but somebody just rolls out a Jukai Naturalist, then dumps the hand in like 2 turns. It's going to be significantly harder to make it there. They've already got enough mana for all their enchantments. I don't think Naturalist is doing a mountain more at this point. So we'll just kill the slightly bigger creature. Era of Enlightenment gets to scry 2. Make sure that they hit more gas. I'm guessing they had 2 lands on top they've put on the bottom now. Only play 1 blocker here. Take 8 damage if they attack with everybody and I block a 3/3. Probably the plan. I do need to keep hitting more lands, so I think I need to commune and then play whatever basic I hit off commune with the emergence. If I don't hit a basic, I can just scoop here. Alright. Cool. There's the 4/5 to maybe block a 3/3. If they have removal for it, we're just dead. Or if they have a combat trick, we're just dead. Alright, we take 5, we're down to 5. Cultivation gives us a 1/1 blocker at instant speed for 2 mana. I can block Sashiro's Living Legacy with a 4/5 and a 1/1. They kill the 4/5. I still have a 1/1 left behind. Because I didn't draw another land, I don't actually have the mana to play a 4-mana creature and a 1/1 and block with both, because I'd have to tap the land to do that. So the only way I play 2 blockers here is if I play Gloom Shrieker and Careful Cultivation. I guess that's what I've got to do. I had a land in my grave. I could Gloom Shrieker up a land, play that land for turn, and do the cultivation, but I don't. So I'm just going to pick up Kami because it can gain some life, I think. Right, if they have anything, we're dead. They get to put us out of our misery. But if all they have are just more creatures to play, then we've got another turn of blocking here. Right, play a land. Attack with both. Do I go for a chump block on Sashiro and just kill Naturalist for free, or do I go for the kill on Sashiro, chump block the Naturalist? I think I have to go for the kill on Sashiro. Which means Gloom Shrieker's just going to be full on dead in the grave. If they don't have a trick, and I chump block Sashiro with a 1/1 and kill Naturalist, I get to still have a 4/5 on this board, then play a Kami that gains some life to replay a Gloom Shrieker potentially later. Pretty dang valuable. I think I'm actually going to go for the chump here. Get the free kill on Naturalist. Bamboo Grove Archer, alright, that doesn't attack. Does not attack. Colossal Sky Turtle is pretty big. We can do the Season of Renewal Sky Turtle loops if we manage to make it out of this. I have 6 mana, not enough to play Kami and do anything else. So I play a Kami without gaining life, and then I hold up the 2 mana that I need to bounce something with Sky Turtle. I could play the Kami, pick up the Gloom Shrieker. They do only have 2 attackers, and I have a way to bounce one. Yeah. I'll pick up the Gloom Shrieker. That's like last resort blocker anyway. Now I can double block Sashiro or single block the Hand of Enlightenment. And now our opponent's playing off the top while we have a million things to do as soon as we have some breathing room. See if they have an explosive enough combat trick here to justify spending our bounce spell. If there's 0 tricks, then we just, like, okay, I'll take 2, kill the Living Legacy. Alright. No tricks. They're down to just a 2/2 first striker against our 4/3. He's currently the lead on board. We now have 7 mana. Enough to play both Seiju and Gloom Shrieker. I think I do want to set up a Boseiju here. I could also play a Gloom Shrieker and a Geothermal Kami to gain some life and be a little safer. Sure, let's actually do that. Gloom Shrieker. Pick up Harmonious Emergence. Geothermal Kami, pick up the Gloom Shrieker, gain some life. And have 2 blockers against their 1 creature while being at 9 life. And then if they still don't do anything next turn, if they just play another dorky creature, then we're like very safe to go for Boseiju next turn, because I can Boseiju and play like a 4/5, potentially. I guess it would be a tapped 4/5. Season of Renewal, just for Tales of Master Sashiro. Wait, they could have picked up Naturalist and Tales. That's kind of weird. If they don't have a combat trick here, this is still a 1-for-1 trade. So we're going to double block. No combat tricks, so 1-for-1 trade, and now I can Gloom Shrieker up the Kami, which is always ridiculous. That doesn't flip, that's just going to put a counter on their defender. Yeah, so we've got the time, we've got the breathing room to set up the Branch of Boseiju now. Okay. Be mana efficient here and just play a tapped 4/5. Alright, they play a land. We've got tons of stuff to do, as well as the Season of Renewal Sky Turtle loop late game. For now, we have Geothermal Kami Gloom Shrieker loops to keep gaining life. We might as well send the 4/3 in as well. I'm at 12 life, and I can definitely still have double blocks for Tales of Master Sashiro. Last turn. Tales of Master Sashiro is gonna flip. If something wild happens, we can bounce it back to their hand. Alright, nothing wild happened. It is dead. Play a land. And another Bamboo Grove Archer. Now our branch is gonna flip, which is massive. Let's Season of Renewal, Creature Enchantment, so Kami and Harmonious Emergence. I can then Emergence and still have the 3 mana up to Colossal Sky Turtle back the Season of Renewal, and we just go to town. They are going to scoop them up there. Alright, great recovery. After getting beaten down a lot at the start, our deck is just so good if we make it to the late game. We just completely flipped that around, because now at that point, again, we were Harmonious Emergencing, making a Vigilant land, we poke them with that, then we still have 3 mana up, use the 3 mana to Sky Turtle back the Season of Renewal during their end step, and we're just playing endless cards for the rest of that game and turning things around real quickly. So, more just excellent stuff from the deck there. Make it out of that aggressive start from our opponent by the skin of our teeth, and we are 3-0 as we head into Game 4. Alright, here we are on the play for Game 4, one of our fastest hands so far with Okiba Reckoner Raid turn 1. That is a slam dunk keep. We know the deck can do some wild stuff late game, so if we have a decent early game, then that is everything we need to be able to do some great stuff throughout the whole game. Alright, starting off with Okiba Reckoner Raid. Passing the turn. Opponent starts with an island and passes the turn there. Go ahead and commune with spirits, probably digging for land. Do find Boseiju reaches skyward and the long reach of night. 2 phenomenal draws, but it would be pretty greedy to put one of those in our hand right now when we have a 3-drop and a 4-drop. And a kunai with no creatures. Yeah, I think we have to just take a swamp, sadly. Excuse me. And drop our kunai and pass the turn. Draw into a Season of Renewal, flip the Okiba Reckoner Raid. opponent is on a blue-white deck. We've dropped our Searchlight Companion down now. We can start hitting pretty hard. 4 damage a turn. There's an Acquisition Octopus. 2/2, they can start doing some card draw nonsense. That's good enough to throw a kunai at. Boop it. I guess I could have waited till their turn, because I can already attack with the other 2 creatures through that creature. But I was just going to kunai that during their end step anyway. More likely than not. Yeah, because I can't kunai the ward creature. Anyway. Alright, we've got our 4th mana. I think I'm going to play a tapped Harmonious Emergence rather than a Geothermal Kami right now. That's going to hit a lot better next turn. If I top deck a land here, then it would have been better to just go Kami into Emergence, but I do get pretty greedy with the Geothermal Kami, the hot tub time machine over here. Alright, another Armguard Familiar. Alright, we didn't hit a land, so we wouldn't have been able to haste out the 4/5 this turn anyway. I'm pretty sure we attack with everybody. Keep that pressure on. They're down to 11 with 1 blocker up. They're going to chump block the land. Take 4. They're down to 7. I think it would be tremendously greedy not to play the 4/3 this turn. So we will put that down now. Repel the Vial on our Swamp to exile it. They have 1 blocker they can block the Kami with, but they take 4 damage, putting them down to 3 life. Yep, they're down to 3. We drop a Generous Visitor. We'll cast a Season of Renewal in their end step, picking up a Harmonious Emergence. Play a Futurist Operative. They're already dead on board, and they will scoop them up. We are now 4-0, getting a nice, quick, aggressive victory that game, so not all of our games have to last like a half hour. We are 4-0 now, heading into Game 5. Here we are for Game 5, and it is that dream curve, being able to channel the Cultivation and then play Boseiju Reaches Skyward on turn 3, if we can hit a land off Commune with Spirits. So if there's a land in our top 6 cards, right, because I'm going to dig 4 cards deep right now, and I'll have 2 more draw steps before I need it. So if there's a land in the top 6, we get to play Boseiju Reaches Skyward on turn 3 and turn 4. We got both copies here. Alright, well that's definitely a land in the top 6. So we will be very happy to grab that here. And our opponent's going to start with a Moth Rider Patrol, getting aggressive. 1 mana, 1/1 flyer. There's an Agonjo Exemplar. Alright, they're getting pretty aggressive here, but we are on the play, and we're going to play Boseiju Reaches Skyward early. So I think we should be able to recover pretty well this game. I don't think it should be as sketchy as game number 3 was. I think this game looks like it's going to go pretty dang well. But we'll see. See how good their aggro is after turn 2 here. Alright, hit for 3, we're down to 15. No 3-drop. Alright, now I'm feeling really safe. We even draw into a Generous Visitor. Make things even more absurd as I play a second Boseiju Reaches Skyward. Grab 2 more lands. Attack with just the Moth Rider Patrol, hit us for 2. They don't have another play again. Now we flip one of the Boseijus. Play a Harmonious Emergence. Counter on another creature. I'll actually keep the Mana Dork, I think. Yeah, and this board state is already just overwhelming. We have a 4/5 Vigilance, a 2/2 Mana Dork, a 2/2 that puts a counter on things, a 5/5 Reach, and another 5/5 Reach. They're going to both be 6/6s with Reach. After this turn, yeah, this is just some complete nonsense here. Okay, they're going to go ahead and tap down the Forest. Guess I don't get to play Tanuki this turn then. But yeah, they're just going to scoop them up. That game was pretty absurd. Opponent is stuck on one color of mana, and we got turn 3 Branch of Boseiju into turn 4 Branch of Boseiju. Disgusting stuff. We are now 5-0, I believe. Take a double check. Last couple games have been pretty fast. I'm not 100%. Yeah, 5-0. Heading into game number 6. Here we are for game 6. Opponent's on the play, but we have Careful Cultivation into Boseiju reaches skyward again if we can draw land in the top 3, because we will be on the draw. We'll have 3 draw steps to do it. So I will keep this hand. If we hit a swamp, the hand is really good, but even if we just hit a forest, Cultivation into Boseiju is a great way to start a game. Alright, we did immediately hit a forest, so we know that we can turn 3 Boseiju if nothing else. Hit another forest. Passed a turn. At least our opponent's on mono black as well. They're on mono color as well, I should say. Not having a blocker for Nashi could be deadly, because whenever that damages us, they get to exile the top card of each player's library. They can play one of them but by just paying life instead of its mana cost. So if they hit anything decent off of Nashi, they're just going to have like a 4-drop for free, and that'll be pretty horrendous. That's bad enough, I think, that I need to not play Boseiju and instead play Gloom Shrieker so that I can block it. Keep it from triggering. Unless they play 2 removal spells. If they don't play any removal, then hopefully we just trade here. Lethal exploit the Gloom Shrieker, fair enough. There's a Ninja's Kunai to go ahead and kill Nashi, which I think I need to go ahead and take the time to do. No, not the equip cost. Do I have to click on the creature? I do. Okay, there we go. Get rid of the Nashi, and now we know that can't go wrong for us. That can't come back to bite us right now. And now we can go ahead and set up our late game plays like Boseiju. There's a Mukatai Ambusher, that's fine. They can gain some life, although drawing Harmonious Emergence means I don't need to let them do that. Because I'm just going to have a 4/5 Vigilance that can attack into that and block it. Alright, poke for 4, they're down to 14. They are still on mono black here. Could be a mono black deck, or it could be having some mana issues. Another Mukatai Ambusher? Sure. I'm pretty okay just making another 1/1 here, rather than getting the +1/+3 nonsense. Got double Season of Renewal if I need to pick it up to be able to put reach on something. It's Boseiju so I can keep playing lands. Grab Forest. I love that I have so many mana dorks that I have the mana up to use a Season of Renewal if I need to. They could kill my Harmonious Emergence here if they double block, but that would be a 2-for-1 trade in my favor, and then I'd have an Emergence engraved to pick up with Season of Renewal. I would be pretty okay with that. So we'll get the attack in here. Deal the 4 damage, they are down to 10, and pass the turn. Silver Fur Master. Buffs all of their ninjas and rogues. These ambushers are 4/3s now. Alright, let's see their combat tricks. Return to action to save one of them. Have it beat my forest, but the other one is still going to die. That is not the end of the world. Alright, 4 or 5 Vigilance is more than a big enough deal to just pick that up here and replay it next turn rather than getting 2 cards off of the Season of Renewal. I'm going to go ahead and commune first and see if I draw anything better. Well, draw nothing. Sad commune is sad. I think 3/4 of our deck are cards that can be hit with commune. So it is extra sad to fail. Because it's like 14, 15 enchantments, and then obviously 17 lands. Or 16 lands. So 30 out of 40 cards, yeah. Assassin's Ink, that's pretty nasty. Well, I guess if they don't have removal for Boseiju, we're still fine. Because that's going to be much bigger than all their attackers. Holding on to the Season of Renewal now. Since I only have 1 left, I'd rather wait till I can get a 2-for-1 off of that, like waiting until this Geothermal Kami dies. 1/1 blocker is not really going to help here. Let's get 1 extra point of damage in. Kami of Restless Shadows, that puts a ninja or rogue into their hand from their graveyard. Pick up their Nashi. Yep. So if they deal combat damage to us, they can pay some life to cast some spells for free. But we are going to be working... Ooh, Sky Turtle Season of Renewal. Let's just start doing it, right? Season of Renewal now. I guess I actually Sky Turtle first. Because then I have a creature and enchantment for grave for when I cast the Season. Pick up the Okiba Reckoner Raid, I think. Play that right now, and I still have the mana up to Season of Renewal back to Sky Turtle. And I've got exactly enough to do that even without tapping the Monk, so that feels good. I'm going to take the Kunai so I know I can blow up the Silver Fur Master or the Nashi. That requires a lot more mana. That's probably better, though. I'll actually pick up the Kunai. Then I can Season of Renewal, Creature Enchantment. Creature's Sky Turtle. Enchantment can still be that Okiba Reckoner Raid, actually. And then I can go Reckoner Raid and just hold up blockers right now to keep them from ninjutsuing, and then next turn I can Kunai one of their creatures. And obviously I can Sky Turtle Season of Renewal for the rest of the game, as I've done in several previous games. Alright, there you go. I guess we get to see what the last card in their hand is, see how good it is. Suit up, so that the Silver Fur Master survives. Pretty solid. Hard cast the Nashi. 8 mana. 3 for Sky Turtle, 3 for Season, 2 mana up after that. I could get a 1/1 off of Cultivation. 3 mana for Kunai. Block 1 creature, shoot the other with Kunai. Yeah, let's do that. So now I'm threatening to block 1 creature and shoot another. This works bad if they top deck a ninjutsu card, but other than that, we're blocking everything that matters. We just block Nashi and blow up Silver Fur Master, and then still have the mana up to Sky Turtle back our Season. And if they don't end up attacking, then we can just Sky Turtle up the Season and play it, which is even better. Creature enchantment. Creature will be... Go Kami Sky Turtle here. No, let's go Sky Turtle and Emergence. Play an Emergence this turn. still have the mana up to sack the Ninja's Kunai and channel the Sky Turtle to pick up Season of Renewal again. And then once I've sacked the Kunai, I can start attacking with the branch every turn to close out the game. Alright, I'm going to crack the Kunai. They're going to go ahead and draw a card. In response, sacking the creature to Dockside Chef. Yep, this is fine. I guess I could have shot the Chef instead. That might have been better. I think killing Nashi's better than killing the Silver for Master, but maybe killing the Chef's better than killing either of those. Probably would have been. Land for turn. Make sure I've got the mana for everything I want to do. Like Kami, replay this enchantment. I'm probably just going to play the Kami and not play any enchantments so I can commune here. Oh my god, Long Reach of Night, let's go. Let's go. Let's set that up then. Card is super, super good in these positions. I guess they double block with a 3/3 and a 2/2. It's not the greatest attack with our 4/5. Alright, we do hit them for 9. They are down to 11. There's a Reckoner Shakedown. They get to make me discard the Sky Turtle, so they ruin that combo, but we're still pretty handily winning the game right now. Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Yeah, that's not going to kill anything. We also do have one more copy of Season of Renewal in the deck. So we could still draw into the infinite value combo later. Alright, play the land to buff the branch. They don't have a double block for the forest anymore. Let's actually just make them sack another creature immediately, I think. And they just have 0 blocks, period. They can't even double block and kill the road captain. Yeah, they are going to scoop them up. Things are just very, very rude and very powerful for the grindy game here. We are now 6-0 heading into the final boss. See if we can get a 7-win run in the return to Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Quick Drafts. Would be pretty sweet, but no matter what, leaving with more gems than it took to enter, which always feels great. Here we are for what could be the final game of Magic today. Don't have anything particularly powerful in the hand, but we have multiple 2 and 3 mana plays, which is kind of what we want to see in our openers. Our deck is full of great ways to grind out a long game, so just making sure we have some stuff to do in the early game to not fall too far behind is pretty important, so I am going to keep this hand. Alright, opponent starts with a mountain and passes. We're going to start with a turn 1 Commune with Spirits, and that is going to find our late game play. Could take a Reckoner raid, but I can curve out well 2-3 mana onward and rather get the better late game play right now. Playing against a blue-red with a turn 2 Goshintai of Lost Wisdom. We're actually pretty happy to see that. If they end up choosing to mill us, as we've seen before, that can be helpful for us. I think we're just going to flash out our 1/1 that taps for a green during their end step here. They're going to send a message, hit us for 0, or are they just going to ninjutsu here? Alright, that's less cool. They are going to ninjutsu. Hit us for 3, get a treasure token, and probably replay the Goshintai. No, pass the turn, interesting. Keep the treasure token and maybe to play a 5 mana card next turn or something like that. Use a burn spell on this? Sure. Track the treasure to use a burn spell on that is fine with me as well. We do have a 3 mana play to play instead of the 4-drop. So we'll run that out. Plus the 4-drop is more of a 5 mana play. It's better on turn 5 than turn 4. Hit a Tamio's Safekeeping. That's pretty exciting. Let's commune again and see if we hit anything better. Oh, Sage reaches skyward. That's very good, but I can't play it this turn. Play an Inkrise Infiltrator and hold up a Safekeeping. I'm going to hold back so we can double block and kill anything here. Unless they hit a 5th mana and they just put Trample on the Thief. But that would take all of their mana to do that. They are going to do it though. I only have 3 power over here, so yeah, we'll take 6, let them get a treasure. But then I play a Harmonious Emergence and a 4/5 is big enough to trade into the Prosperous Thief. Alright, Network Disruptor's fine. We have some very good blockers for that. We've got that 1/2 Infiltrator. Pick up a Sky Turtle. So if we hit the Season of Renewal, we get to go infinite there. I think I have to Emergence a Forest here so that I can hold up the green while attacking with it. If I Emergence a Swamp, I don't have a green mana up for safekeeping. And I definitely need to play the 4/5 this turn to block this Prosperous Thief. Hopefully they don't have any bounce spells in their hand to try to bounce my forest, because then I'd have to tap the forest to play the safekeeping to protect it, which means I wouldn't have a block for Thief this turn, which means we'd go pretty low on life. But we've been quite far down on life before and made a comeback. Alright, no bounce spells. Just an Armguard Familiar and a Goshintai in their hand. Alright, we can still beat that Prosperous Thief in combat. Well, not beat it, but we can trade for it in combat. There's 5 power, 6 toughness, so we take 2 damage here. That's fine. I will safekeeping the forest to keep that around. Still got a 1/2 to block the 1/1, a 4/5 to block the 3/2. I guess the problem is they can put the boar on the disruptor. That could be bad. Is Long Reach of Night good here? It's pretty solid here. Better than just casting Boseiju right now. Probably a tiny bit. I'm opening myself up to take like 4 damage next turn. If they go land double equip, I take 4, 6. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go Long Reach of Night. Hit for 4 with the forest. They're down to 11. Life totals are even. They're playing off the top, but we've got a couple more cards in hand. Reconfigure onto the Network Disruptor. Make it a 3/2 flyer. Get in for 3. And play a Moonfolk Puzzle Maker. Alright, Long Reach of Night triggers again. They have to sack one of their creatures now. Okay, anything I really need to get from Graveyard with the Sky Turtle? Not really. So let's set up the Boseiju. Keep the attacks coming. With the Vigilant 4/5. They're going to go for a kill here. They have to block with the boar if they want to try to kill it. They have to block actually with just the whole team. Or just Familiar and boar. Let me kill both of those. So they are not going to block then. Draw for turn, they're down to 7 now. We are down to 8. Facing a flyer that can get some equipment reconfigured onto it. Alright, they're going to make the flyer a 4/6 flying trample. If I attack with everybody next turn, they block the forest. Then I can't kill them because I don't have the mana to buff the infiltrator enough. Yeah, this is sketchy. If they find removal for the infiltrator, they can kill it and kill me next turn. Even if I block now, because if I block now and then they have removal to kill the infiltrator next turn, then they just re-equip removal and kill me. I guess I forced them to lose the familiar, which is nice, and I can play a Searchlight Companion from grave. Yeah, we'll take it. Could also pick up Careful Cultivation and just have a really big reach creature. A lot of options for Sky Turtle to make sure that we're pretty unlikely to die next turn. I might pick up the Careful Cultivation and just put Reach on the Long Reach of Night to have a 1/7 with Reach. Should be really hard to kill me through that. So if I attack with just the forest and the infiltrator, they are forced to chump blocker, they're dead on board. But then I'm losing one flying blocker, but then I'm going to make a flying blocker by giving something reach. And this way they can't give the Puzzle Maker another +2. They have Voltage Surge here, they're going to try to use on Infiltrator to win. If they Voltage Surge Infiltrator, have exactly 3 mana up afterward. Which means I can't make the reach blocker here. Wow, yeah, if their last card in hand is Voltage Surge, that's how they're trying to find lethal. I lose to Voltage Surge no matter what if I attacked with Infiltrator here. Because they can sack the Familiar to do 4 damage to Animus if I try to put Reach on that. Oh, you know what I can do? I can gain 2 life. No, I can still survive. I can pick up Searchlight Companion, but then I die because they Voltage Surge it and kill me. I can pick up Safekeeping to gain 2 life. And that's how we win. Alright. Cool Voltage Surge. I will gain 2 life then. Oh wait, no, because they can just move the Familiar over and still have Voltage Surge. If I declared the attack with... If I didn't attack with Infiltrator and then I Sky Turtle and put Reach on, I would have had a shot here. So I would have... Sky Turtle went for Reach, they would have shot down the Animus. Then I have Chump Block there. Yeah, no, I die to... because I attacked with Infiltrator. I guess I could have made them have it by just activating the Infiltrator, so we could have seen, yeah, they've got the Voltage Surge. They could be bluffing it here, now we'll never know. I'm 100% certain that they had it, though, because otherwise, if they didn't, they had 1 red mana up. If they didn't, and they chose not to block the forest, they would have just killed themselves on board for no reason. So 100% they have the Voltage Charge here. Well, if I had the blue source, I could still bounce Puzzle Maker. Yeah, that sucks. Should not have attacked with Infiltrator. Because it loses to Volt Charge. Again, the idea there was, unless they had literally just a 1-mana burn removal spell, we were going to kill them on board, and then even if they did, we could set up something to be a big reach blocker, but Voltage Charge could do 4 damage to the Animus if I tried to make that a reach blocker. I guess they couldn't have killed the forest with voltage charge. Oh no, yeah, I just punted that entirely. I could have put reach onto the forest. And then they need a bounce spell to win. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. That was a pretty loose one. That is just the give and take of Magic there. Played really, really tight in a lot of the other games, so got to get a little sloppy in the end. Balance it out. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I could have just put it on the 4/5. Made my 4/5 have reach. They couldn't... Voltage Charge can do 4 damage to any target if they sack an artifact, but obviously 4 damage isn't enough to kill a 5 toughness creature. All I needed to do there was pick up the Careful Cultivation and put reach on the 4/5. I have no idea why I didn't see that line. Probably just getting a bit tired here. This has been 2.5 hours at this point. It has been edited down a bit for you all, but this has been the longest draft I've had in months. But probably just feels a little extra that way after Phyrexial will be won, but still 2.5 hours is a lot for a quick draft, especially when I'm only 7 games in. All right, moving on to game 8 now. 6-1. Could have been 7-0, but I'm getting a little tired and punting a little bit. Here we are for game 8. Horrible mana, auto mulligan, and this hand is much better. We have Cultivation into Boseiju reaches Skyward turn 3. Super, super into that. I think I get rid of Containment Construct here. Go for the turn 1 Commune, see what we hit. Statistically incredibly improbable, but we completely miss with Commune with Spirits. And yes, I am going to cry about it, because that is so unlikely in this deck. Opponent starts with turn 1 Network Disruptor. Incredible card to play turn 1 for the Ninjas deck, and that is what they are. Turn 1 Network Disruptor, turn 2 Inkrise Infiltrator. We'll take the 1 damage, go to 19. Grab a 1/1 Monk that taps for mana, and go ahead and play our turn 3 Boseiju reaches Skyward. Dig some extra lands out of the deck. And go from there. Take 2 damage, no ninjutsu going on, and they just passed the turn. Alright. Drawn to a Geothermal Kami, just play a 4/3 on the ground, I suppose. Probably the best I've got here. Poke for 1. Here's a 4/3. Guessing it's ninjutsu time if they're taking this long here. No, they're just going to dump extra mana into dealing some extra damage. Sure thing. Harmonious Emergence is a beautiful draw. So I've got the Branch of Boseiju all set up to block their flyers, and now I have a Harmonious Emergence to keep chipping in while blocking on the ground. Yeah, send in the squad. Pretty cool with the 1/1 trading into their 1/1 flyer. They're down to 10 after that attack. Really big swing. They've got 5 mana now. They're going to play a Searchlight Companion. And that's it for now. See how far the big green dorks can take us. I'm going to be playing a Searchlight Companion here to still have at least 1 flying blocker. Still don't love attacking with the Branch because it's such a phenomenal blocker. I might still just attack with everybody else. I've got 6 mana if I hold this Human Monk up, then I could play Cultivation and Companion. Might hold the Monk up here. You know, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to put a Careful Cultivation on this forest. I guess it'd be a little better pre-combat because we could hit them for an extra point of damage. But that way we have 2 really big reach blockers that they have to kill. They have to find a way to get through both of them. And of course we'll have the 1/1 flyer from Searchlight Companion as well. I guess it's probably better to just put it on like the 1/1 Spirit token or something, because it's still a 2/4 reach, which is really hard for them to attack through, because this just becomes a 3/4 when they buff it once. Yeah, they'll still have a really hard time attacking if I just put Cultivation on the 1/1 Spirit token. So let's attack with this, and then we still have 2 flying blockers post-combat, thanks to Companion into Cultivation. Alright, looks like we don't even need to worry about that, because they do need to stay alive, so they're going to be focused on just blocking here. Kill all that stuff. Rather try to kill the Inkrise Infiltrator if I can. See what combat trick they have here, because otherwise that's a pretty weird block on Geothermal Kami. Blocking with 2 power when it's got 3 toughness. Return to action. There you go, that's the 4th power. That explains it. Fair enough. That's going to give them another blocker when it hits the board, but they only have 3 creatures total. Alright, now here's Searchlight Companion. And Reach on the Spirit. So we've got 2 flying blockers. They definitely don't get any ninjutsu in, unless they have a removal spell and a ninjutsu creature. And they're just going to scoop them up there, and we will get our 7th win. They're pretty big bummer not to get the 7-0, especially because it was self-imposed again. Don't know what I was thinking at the end of the last game. It was very, very winnable. Even when I realized that they had Voltage Charge there, I just completely blanked on giving the 4-5 reach through the Voltage Charge, so should have been a 7-0 if I played it tight throughout the games, but still, a phenomenal record here, 7-1 for the return to Kamigawa. This deck was phenomenal, everything performed super great, and I just love this format. As you can see, way, way different from some of the more recent, just completely aggressive formats. You can draft great aggressive strategies like blue-black and red-black and really anything red in the deck, or in the format. And also really great grindy strategies that go until each player only has like 10 cards left in their library with these green decks and stuff. I think there's just a lot of really cool, really powerful, unique archetypes and a lot of very good 2 and 3 for 1 value plays, like all the sagas that like flip into creatures are phenomenal. It's a really cool format. Had a lot of fun taking a peek back into the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty draft format for one more quick draft as they brought them back on Arena here. So that's going to end today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did and you'd like to see some more in your recommended feed, you can always leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That'll tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more. If you'd like to hang out with me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.